Hey, everybody. Welcome to your horoscopes readings. Start that over. Welcome to your readings for the week ending 7/2. Funny story. But I always record these a week in advance so that they're ready on Sundays. And yesterday I went through a whole recording and it was kind of rough. Something just seemed off about it, but I pushed through because, no one likes a bitch, right? Just gotta get your work done. Was doing the wrong week. So I actually did the readings for the week ending the 9th before the 2nd, but it really was for that week. I mean, I really struggled with it and went back and watched to make sure that I was actually saying the right week, and it is for the right week. So let's do the ones for this week this time. So funny it's my intuition was saying you're doing the wrong one the whole time, and I just was not paying attention to it. So if you happen to be doing the intuitive development workshop, this is a really good example for that, in terms of I kept getting the signs, and it just, I wasn't paying attention to it until I finished the video, went and uploaded it, looked in the file folder and went, there's a missing week because I just did the wrong week. Craziness. So there you go. It happens to everybody, trained or not trained. It just happens to everybody. But let's go ahead and get our horoscopes started. And we're going to start with Kimberly Duquette. I hope I'm actually pronouncing that correctly. I may or may not. Who knows? But if I am mispronouncing that, I'm very, very, very sorry. Let me get this little stinker. He wants to play with my feet, and we don't want that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with Kimberly's reading. Okay, Kimberly, let me tune into you. Okay, so the first thing actually that I have coming up for you, so we're moving into a holiday weekend this week. Not actually having the holiday quite yet, but we're moving into a holiday weekend. First things first, let me just say it's really important to take some time off. Having a holiday and having a 3-day weekend kind of helps with that a little bit. I kind of feel like you haven't really been taking a lot of time to yourself. There's been a lot of things that you're trying to get done, and you're just trying to get it all done, and that's really good, but you do need it to give yourself a day to relax every now and then. That's really important for your energy levels. Also, this week is the last week where Mars is in Aries, so that kind of sort of frenzied energy is going to start to taper down after this week, which is kind of good. I mean, all areas are full of energy all the time, and when I say full of energy, I have a brother who just literally can't sit still. Like, even when he's sitting, he's moving, kind of a thing. It's has to do with with the sign a lot, because it's a fire sign, and fire signs are a lot of energy. But if you look at the zodiac as a lifespan, or one individual lifespan, Aries is the baby. So of course, I mean, in your life, when are you going to have the most energy? It's when you're brand new, right? You're a brand new human being, and Aries seems to keep that energy going kind of forever. The issue with not winding that down and not taking time off is that you wind up in a burnout. And when you get into that burnout, in my experience, what tends to happen is that you get a forced break instead of a chosen break. And that forced break usually means that you are sick, or something is going on with your body that is forcing you to rest. So in my experience, and I struggled with this for years, in my experience, I have less forced breaks now than I ever did, because I really pay attention to my body, my energy level. And if my energy is not right, I will take that time for myself, so that I don't wind up being sick and being forced to take that time, because that's really no fun. So that's one thing that's coming up for you this week, and very important that you do take that time. And I have to say, I'm seeing you have a day with nothing this week, but then something is going to come up, or someone's going to come up and say, hey, could you do this and that? It's really important to have boundaries with that. Okay, so make sure that you take care of you first, and then everybody else afterwards, whether it's your children, your business. I understand these are all things that you are in charge of, that you need to take care of, but you're not going to be able to take care of any of those things if you don't take care of you first. So it's very ingrained in us women, especially as mothers, that everybody else comes first. That's not true. You come first and everybody else comes second. You got to keep that in mind, especially as your business starts to get busier and busier. You're going to need that time, even more. The other thing that I'm being shown is I really feel that this week there is somebody coming in, and I'm not sure if this is a client. I know that this is a person. It has something to do with your business. This is actually something that is very beneficial for you. It's almost like I see an energy exchange going on. So either this is a client that you're doing an exchange with to kind of broaden things, or this could be somebody that's coming in as a business partner, if that makes sense. It could start off as a client and wind up being a business partner as well. So there's definitely some kind of working together going on, which is really exciting. And I will say I'm not seeing this coming through with this person necessarily. But I will say that in terms of energy exchange, whoever you partner with, make sure that you're comfortable with your energy. If there's anything at all that you're uncomfortable with about their energy, do not partner with them. Okay, just listen to your intuition on that. They may be saying all these wonderful things, everything might, all the boxes may be checked right now, but it could wind up being an issue later on that you kind of don't want to deal with. So keep that in mind. So that's what I have for you, Kimberly, and I'm going to move on to Darcy. Okay. So I know I picked up something about a promotion for next week's reading, seeing as how I already did it. If you watch the intro, you'll hear my funny story if you haven't watched it already. I think this has come up before, so it may have come up in last week's reading also. I'm not 100% sure, but I see this as being something that's a big focus this week. The other thing that I'm being shown for this week is I do see um, somebody coming up, or showing up or popping up in your life that's from the past. This is somebody that you haven't seen in a while. It may even, to be honest with you, it may even be somebody that you haven't, you chose not to see for a while, and so it seems like they're almost coming back a little bit, if that makes sense at all. I don't see it as being a big horrible thing. I don't see it as being a big annoying thing. I don't see anything bad coming out of it. What I will say is that this acquaintance, because that's what I feel it is an acquaintance. It's not a bad idea to talk to them. They may have something that they need to say to you or apologize for or what have you. Allow them to do that. And I'm not saying that just because it didn't work out before that you should just sort of not pursue another relationship with them. What I am saying though is that a friend, if a friendship develops again, or if you renew the friendship, this time make sure that it has boundaries so that things that happened in the past don't happen again. Okay, I hope that that makes sense. It's not necessarily that I don't believe in, if a relationship was toxic, walk away from it. Okay, I mean, in many cases that's absolutely true. um or if a relationship didn't work out before, means that it won't work out a second time. In many cases, that's absolutely true. But when I look at this also as an opportunity, depending on the situation, to do things a different way. And if you've grown and they've grown, and it really can work out. It really couldn't work out too. I mean, it could just be the same old thing, but you're going to approach the relationship differently than you approached it the last time. And I think that's really what the lesson is all about here. So don't be afraid in this particular instance. What I'm saying is, don't be afraid to give it another chance. It may turn out to be the exact same thing, but if you don't give it another chance, you're not going to know. So that's what I have for you there. Moving on to Stacy. Okay. All right. I am picking up a lot of frenzied energy for this week. And this could be getting ready for the holiday weekend. If you do wind up having a holiday weekend, it's having that day off, it is always nice, but it's like you got to work double time beforehand in order to make sure that everything is run smoothly through that transition, if that makes sense. So I kind of see this, that a lot of frenzied energy for you this week, whether it's getting ready for the holiday weekend. I see it kind of at work as well, so I'm not sure if that has to do with getting ready for the holiday weekend, or if it's just really busy because of the holiday weekend. Like you have more customers coming in, or more clientele, or what have you. So I do see some of that. I keep hearing the words, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. To be honest with you, I feel like I resonate with this so much. It's like you work best under pressure. If that makes sense. You work best under stress. But I also feel that what's sort of becoming prevalent for you, I used to feel that way years ago. When I was younger, and I'm not saying that you're old or that I'm old, but when I was younger, I used to feel that way. And as I get older, that doesn't apply quite as much, if that makes sense. Actually now, when I'm uber stressed out, things tend to not run as smoothly, and I don't feel like I'm at my best under stress. I feel more like this is something that's constantly getting to you. It's causing some issues there. So the best laid plans, always wind up getting screwed up a little bit. However, the more you can plan ahead, the better. So if you can, definitely take care of what you need to take care of this week. But if anything can be bumped off until next week, bump it off. Don't feel bad about it. Just bump it off. Because I feel like too much on your plate becomes an anxiety attack. And that's the word that they're giving me, is an anxiety attack. The other thing that I'm picking up for you is, I need to drink of water. The other thing that I'm picking up for you is I see it's like sort of in the middle of this sort of chaos going around. I see something really, really, really awesome happening, kind of like right in the middle of it, so to speak. So take the time out of that to really process that wonderful thing. We always talk about processing our negative stuff, but let's take time to process the good stuff too. When something good happens, you should celebrate it. And you need to stop what you're doing and take the time to celebrate it. It seems, this thing seems like something that you've been really waiting for, you've been hoping for, or it could just be something that's a complete and total out of left field thing that you weren't waiting for. But I kind of have a feeling that you already know what this is. um Take the time to celebrate it. What you don't want to do is try and get other people to celebrate with you, because people are not necessarily going to treat it in with the same energy that you're putting into it. And when that happens, it sort of makes you feel like, maybe you don't deserve to celebrate, or if everybody else doesn't see the importance of this, then maybe you're putting too much importance in it. Don't even go there. Okay. I'm asking you not to even go there, because the truth of the matter is that you deserve to celebrate this. And other people are not going to have the same perception about it as you. And in some cases, a lot of times people will not give it the same amount of energy, because they have other things that they have going on that are not as successful as what you're dealing with right now. And so for their own emotional reasons, they wind up sort of making it seem like what you're going through really isn't that big of a deal, when it really is a big deal. And if it's a big deal for you, then you should be putting the right energy into it. So make sure that your celebrations are about you. Even if you have to celebrate by yourself, make sure it's about you, not about and don't bring other people into it if you can avoid that, because they're not all cheerleading for you. We'll just put it that way. It's human nature. It is just how it is. So that's what I have for you, Stacy. I am going to move on to Connie, getting ready for surgery next week. I wouldn't say it's frenzied, but I do feel that it's a little bit frenzied, if that makes sense. Because I see a lot of paperwork being done. I do see you seeing clients next week also. I do see that is being a pretty good sized load of clients, also. Um, so it's not like you're going to have a lot of free time, if that makes sense. You do want to be aware of that. Time management is really what we're talking about here. It's managing the time that you do have, which you are good at. But I feel like it's the home time management that really is what we're talking about here, to make sure that you get those things done in your home office that you need to get done. The more you get done, the better, honestly. I do see that some of it can be put off till later when you're recovering, but the more you can get done, the better, because you don't want to be worrying about what you're doing when you're recovering. So that's the first thing that I've got there. I actually see, to me, this is weird, but maybe it's not weird for you, because I do see a couple of new clients next week. Why I say that's weird, to me, I would think to put off any brand new clients until after you come back, but I see a couple of them sort of sneaking in there, I guess, before you do have to take off. One of them is a really good client. Like, there's a lot of potential there. One of them, I don't want to say it seems like you're wasting your time with this one, because you're never really wasting your time. It's just not as exciting of a client, we'll put it that way, in terms of what you're going to get out of it, I guess. But it's also somebody that um there's a possibility for more business there, maybe not with them, but with others. So you want to do the best that you can for them, obviously. um I also, okay. Now, I see you making plans for, who's taking you to the hospital, who's picking you up, doing all those things. But I see these plans having to be replanned, if that makes sense, or plans moved around. So with that being said, I know we talked about your aunt taking you and your son picking you up. That may wind up needing to be flip-flopped at the last minute, or something like that, or it could be that your aunt has nothing to do with it, and your son is doing all of the taking you and picking you up kind of a thing. So I see like a last minute rescheduling having to be done with that this week as well. So that's what I'm getting for you, Connie. And I am going to move on to Christina. I could have said this for Connie also, but I'm gonna say this for you because I know how you are. It's your birthday month. It's officially your birthday month. The first full week of your birthday month. I know you're excited. I know you're already celebrating. You and I are so much the same person in so many ways. July 1st, bam, it's my birthday. I understand, because February 1st, bam, it's my birthday. Um so happy birthday. Just be the first one to give you a happy birthday this week. So we got that first of all. And I actually really honestly I see you starting to celebrate already. Like, let's go out and celebrate my birthday this week. Even though it's at the end of the month. Um, don't forget to celebrate when the sun moves into Leo too, because I mean, that's your other first day of your birthday, and in my opinion, anyway. So I always celebrate the day that the sun moves into the sign, the day that I move into the month. Kind of it is a month long celebration for me. By the time the 15th rolls around, I'm almost sick of it, but not quite. you know um kind of a thing. So I see a little bit of that. I think that some people may think you're a little nuts or crazy, but you don't care. And if you're starting to think that maybe you should care, no, 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 we're not even going to go there. Okay. Don't care. It's you. You do you. If they're not up to par with that, that's on them. That's not you. You shouldn't feel bad because you are who you are. Okay. I love who you are. And there's a lot of people that love who you are, so you just stay exactly who you are. um the other thing that's coming up this week, I kind of am seeing a bit of a financial worry coming up this week. I don't really feel like it's like your whole world is going to come crashing down or anything. It's more like an unexpected expense that is just annoying because it's not something that you really want to be dealing with this week, but it's also not something that's overwhelming either. It's sort of like something that at first it's like, oh my god, what are we going to do? And then by the end of the day it's like, okay, well, we have a plan. We just do this and this and this, and then we can take care of it, and then it's fine. So um maybe spend less time panicking about it and more time figuring out what to do about it. That's a little less stressful, in my opinion, anyways, to figure out what needs to be done than the actual initial panic. And that initial panic a lot of times is something that is just so much an automatic reaction, and even for me, but you get to choose how long that goes on. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. It's always going to be an automatic reaction, but you get to choose how long you panic about it. Are you going to panic about it for a month? Or are you going to panic about it for about a half hour or so? The half hour is definitely going to be a lot less energy than the month long, right? So that's what I have for you, Christina. Happy birthday. And I'm going to move on to Jenny. Okay, I feel a lot of stress coming from you this week. Um, it could be stress because you're getting things done so that you can have a nice holiday break. It could be stress over like it's almost like the tax deadline never happened. Like you're almost still working toward that deadline, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like you're a lot busier this week than normal. Either a lot of panicking clients. I see some things coming up with the girls, nothing bad, it's just stuff that you have to add to your plate of things that you need to do, if that makes sense. um More frustrating than stressful. Maybe a little bit stressful because it just feels like there's so much of it, but I don't, I also don't see that it's anything that you can't handle or anything out of the ordinary. It's just, this is how it is in Jenny's world right now. And so I have that. The other thing that I'm actually being shown for you is I do also see um okay, this is just what I'm being told. So maintenance needs to be done on something. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to kind of sort of, because my first initial reaction is maybe it's the car, but no, there's something that needs maintenance done that you normally would have maintenance done on by now, and it hasn't been done yet. And I'm being told to tell you it really needs to be done. So the sooner you can schedule that and get that done, the better. And the reason why I'm saying it's something is because I'm not sure if it's something from the house or something. I'm not seeing a car. I'm seeing like an air conditioning unit or some other type of quote unquote machinery that needs maintenance done every single year. So this is your reminder that if you haven't scheduled that, it's a good idea to do so, because if you don't, there's a possibility that it will just stop working. And if it is your air conditioning, you definitely don't want that to happen. So that is what I have for you, Jenny. Moving on to Teresa. Okay, I'm actually seeing you looking for things to do this week. Um, Not to say that you're not working, because I do see that happening. I do see you working. But it's like outside of work. And I think this is going to come up in your reading again next week, because I think it was in the recording that I did yesterday when I accidentally did next week instead of this week. Um, it's almost like, this is such a very typical Libra thing, to put their own feelings, their own stuff on the back burner because they want to take care of other people. Libras are known as martyrs for a reason. They sacrifice what their needs for others. And so one of the ways that Libras handle things emotionally, and every Libra I've ever known, I've seen do this, is whatever they're going through is not important. What can I do for you? Can I comfort you because, for what you're going through, even though you're going through the same thing? Can I be of assistance to you? It's basically putting your own feelings on the back burner and keeping yourself busy so that you don't have to bring those feelings up. I mean, I know they're coming up anyways. Usually when you're by yourself, not a bad idea to just take that time this week, and go through your process. I'm not saying that you're not processing. Okay. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying though is that the more you put it off, the longer it's going to take. And this is something that's going to take a while anyways. I mean, it's a big one. Um, it's definitely a good idea to give yourself that space to process. As much as it sucks to grieve, um, the more you put it off, the longer your grief process is going to be. And we just don't want to do that. We've learned it from experience in the past that that's not a good idea. Um, so we're going to put that out there. I don't see it as being an overly busy week for you. I mean, yeah, I see working. Oh my God, excuse me. Who that came out of nowhere? Um, I see working. And I think that since I yawned out from from literally nowhere, I'm gonna have to say that it's a good time to rest. Because I don't see a lot of stuff going on outside of work unless you make it that way. So as much time as you can use to rest, the better, because I also feel that what you're going through right now is sort of exhausting you and wearing you out, which is totally normal. Um, yeah. So that's what I have for you. That's just we're just gonna leave it at that. And we're gonna move on to Regina. Okay, this is so weird, but it's like the week is literally like half and half. So I see like a really busy week. Maybe at the beginning of the week, like things are just ridiculously busy for the first couple of days, and then it sort of tapers down towards the end of the week, where things aren't quite so chaotic and hectic and just because it's literally what I'm picking up. It's like the vision of the mantra woman who's got like 8 arms doing all these things. This is Regina for the first couple of days of the week, and then things start to slow down a little bit. Two things that are coming up with that busy time specifically. First of all, make sure you take on what's yours, and not be so willing to take on what belongs to other people, responsibilities. Helping's always nice, but there comes a point with certain people, we'll just say, where you need to look at, are you helping or are you enabling? It's a big deal to know the difference between that. We're going to put that way. For somebody who's constantly needing help with something that they can be doing, and if you're doing it, that falls under enabling. So you want to just you want to try and nip that in the bud as much as possible. The other thing that I'm picking up is that I feel once you get through towards, past the really crazy busy stuff and moving into later on in the week when things start to taper down just a little bit. Well, actually, what I'm seeing is things taper down, then really busy, and then it tapers down again. This could be because of the holiday coming up. In that tapered down time, though, I really feel like you are the type of person that can't sit still. So even when you're home, you're always moving around, you're always doing stuff, you're always um but at the same time, one of the things that I'm seeing is just I wouldn't call it exhaustion, but it's very close to. It just feels like your body has nothing. um Energetically, we kind of get that way sometimes, where the body just feels like it can't do anything. And I'm being asked to tell you to resist the urge to push through that. Okay. um Give your body some time to rest. Do things that are restful to you. Make sure that when your body is resting, this is resting also. I know how hard that is, but you just kind of have to say, no, I'm not thinking about those things right now because I'm not doing them. And we're wired to be constantly sort of on top of things in our head. It doesn't, it's not always helpful, and you're definitely not resting if you are. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Mm. You're not resting if you're thinking about all the things that need to get done and you're planning all these things and all that stuff. The other thing that I'm being shown is there's a young man around you. I don't know who this is, so I'm gonna say hopefully you do. Um, and I keep seeing this young man popping up around you. And he always seems to have a problem. And you just love those people who always seem to have a problem. Um, he always seems to have a problem, or he always seems to be in a pickle or something like that. And I'm being told to tell you when this happens this week, don't be so quick to help him this time. Let me rephrase that. Don't be so quick to do it for him. Okay. Help him by holding his hand and guiding him through it to have him do it. But I feel like, oh my God. Ugh. This just started like with the person before you. I feel like this kid, I'm gonna call him a kid. He probably isn't a kid, but he's younger than I am, so I'm gonna call him a kid. This kid, it's just easier to come to you and let you deal with the situation, let you fix it, and he's not learning anything. And this is where I'm talking about the difference between helping and enabling. This is really dancing on the line of enabling. If he's your kid, or somebody who's like your kid or what have you, it's hard for me not to do that for my own kids. I think it's hard for everybody not to do that for their own kids. However, all my kids are in their 20s. Actually, 2 weeks from now, all my kids will be in their 20s. And for me, it's like I just like to get, move through and get stuff done. And so it's like, here, let me just do it for you really quick, and then it'll get done quickly. And then they don't learn. I wind up doing it for them every time. And so the more I I back away and let them figure it out, the easier it is for them to figure it out. And I do this because, and I've told them specifically, I do this because one day I won't be here. And if I do this for you every day or every time it happens up until that day that I leave this earth, then when it comes up again, you're not going to be equipped to take care of it. And I'm actually doing you a disservice by doing this for you. So I will walk you through it, but you have to do it. And I really feel like with this young man in particular, this is what needs to be done now. He's going to resist it. But eventually it'll work. It'll start to work out better for him as well as for you, because you won't be needed to help quite as often. There is a little bit of, man, that's really sad feeling about that. I'm very proud of my children for being independent, but I am sad when they don't need me anymore. But that's really the way that it's supposed to be. So I hope that makes sense. And that's what I have for you. And I'm going to move on to Amanda. Okay, I see this as being a really busy week for you also. And we have an appointment, so I'm part of that busy. Yay! Although I don't foresee me giving you a lot of work to do or anything, but I do see this as being a really busy week for you this week. Because I see time off coming up, so you're trying to get everything squared away so that you can enjoy that time off, which is the best way to do it, honestly. That way you don't have to worry about the things that you didn't do. Granted, I don't see you actually getting everything on your to-do list for this week done, but that's okay. The most important things will get taken care of, so that's good. um I'm also seeing a lake. um it's almost like a mid-week drop everything, we're going to the lake, kids, we're going to the lake. And it's sort of a partly playtime, partly meditate and take some time with the water. It just a break. And I feel like this isn't just a break for you. I feel that your girls really need this break also. It's sort of like unplugging from all other human beings, if that makes sense. And this is something that is very much needed for you and your daughters. One in particular, I'm not sure which one, but I'm toggling back and forth between the two older ones. It's just like the way that I'm seeing it is like you have plans to do things, and then that day, it's like around Wednesday, you have plans to do things, and then your energy is a little bit low, and you're feeling like you're having to push through, and one of your girls comes up and says, you know what, I need a break from all these people, they're driving me crazy. And you're like, you know what, it's been moved and seconded, let's just get out and kind of unwind for a little bit. So that's what I have for you. And I'm gonna pause for just a minute. Okay, moving on to Sheri, my friend Sheri. Sheri, Bowberry. This stupid song is stuck in my head right now. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Um. All right. This is the first thing that's coming up. Okay. First things first. Avoid fighting with Rick. There, I said it. Okay. My vision is the mouth, the mouth that just goes and goes and goes. And it just, you're kind of, I kind of see you like just trying to be cool, trying to kind of talk him down, trying to smooth it out. And then it just gets to a point where your freaking head explodes and the smoke comes out of your ears, and the Sagittarian witch comes out, for lack of a better word. It's like a pattern that doesn't change. um and the issue here is that um fighting with him is not going to solve anything. We're just going to put, it's a lot of energy for you to put out there for no reason, because nothing good is going to come out of it. Okay, it will just put it that way. Better option is to walk away from it. If it has nothing to do with you, walk away from it. You are in a position right now, this is what your mom is telling me, okay? This is straight from mom's mouth here. You feel like you've been put in a position to have to replace her, but you're not replacing her. You're not her. So, and she's not saying you're not good enough to be her. So don't go there. I don't think you will, but don't, just in case. This is more of a, you're putting more pressure on yourself than you need to. Okay, so if the fight is between your dad and Rick, you need to exit out of it. Okay, this has nothing to do with you. Okay, your dad's not going to get hurt. It's his kid. You need to deal with it. If the fight is between Rick and Matt, again, you need to exit. It's not about you. Okay, and you need to let Matt fight his own battles when it comes to that, and regardless of what happens from that, right? So I'm not saying that you're trying to save Rick, okay, or Matt or your dad or whoever, right? Unless Rick is fighting with your daughter, it has nothing to do with you, okay? That's how I'm going to put that. So I see that coming up. This is issues between these people that they need to work out, and they do not need your help. Okay. I cannot stress that enough. I love you. I'm saying this with love. They don't need your help. Okay. Just stay out of it, and make yourself happy by going and dealing with something else. Don't deal with that. So that's the first thing that I have for you. I don't see this as happening all week, by the way. It's just an isolated incident that is going to come up. Let me just put this also, because this is what your mother is saying. If this is a fight between your dad and Rick, this is this is your dad's deal. Okay, it's his kid. You're not one of the parents, and you don't need to step into that parent role because your mom isn't there. Okay. Number two, I do see some money coming in this week. That could be from paychecks, but I see a little bit of extra money, something that maybe you weren't expecting. So that's kind of a good thing too. And that's what I have. So I'm gonna move on. No, I'm not gonna move on yet. During this whole process with Rick thing, your mom literally just said, go and get yourself, go and relax. Put your feet up. She's like, literally, this is not your job, right? She wants you to go and relax instead of deal with this. So she's actually showing you in one of those chase lounges with a drink and your feet up. The little drink with an umbrella in it, like you're on vacation. That's what she's trying to say. Take a vacation from the craziness. You don't need to respond. So that's what I have for you. Moving on to Peg. I want the energy of your week. Honestly, I feel relaxed. Like you're taking some relaxed time this week, which is good. And I sort of feel like, for whatever reason this week, I'm not sure if there's like extra time off this week that you're taking, which is kind of weird, because I think your next week is all about making sure you take a day off because you've been really busy. But this feels more uh like you do have some time off and you're going to use it. I mean, and when I say you're going to use it, what I mean by that is I'm not doing a damn thing. That's how you use a day off. Hard as it is sometimes, because there's so many things that need to be done, but I just see you literally laying there and going, I don't care if it gets done. I don't care if the house burns down. Screw it. As long as I can sleep today, but I'll worry about all that stuff tomorrow, kind of a thing. Um, so that's one thing that's coming up there for you. Sorry, my little kitty is sliding here. And I actually see, like, with that energy sort of going through the whole week. So it's not like an overly crazy, overly busy week. You've got things to do, you get them done. You just sort of seamlessly move from one thing to another, which is good. And in that energy, or that very relaxed energy, I should say, there's a couple of things that do pop up, that are out of the ordinary. Possible clients coming in, or possible meeting with somebody to collaborate with in some way. And it's like, the normal quote unquote work week is like, hey, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, blah blah blah. This is just I don't see a crazy schedule this week. So when you are doing these meetings, it's your energy comes, you come to it with a completely different energy. It's just sort of like, yeah, you're in your zen and yeah, let's do this. That sounds great. And that energy really helps, okay, in terms of what you're doing and what you're trying to build, I guess, if that makes sense. The other thing that I'm being shown is I see you doing a lot more writing this week than normal, and I know that you said you kind of put writing another book back on the back burner, but I feel like maybe you've taken it off the back burner, you've kind of looked at it. I see like a lot of creative, a lot of stuff just kind of sort of popping up. And so you may not actually be writing that book, but I see a lot of writing down the ideas and kind of categorizing what it is that you're doing in order to be prepared to really get going on that next book, if that makes sense. And to be honest with you, if you haven't gotten back into that yet, I don't see it as being very long. I see you getting back into it pretty quick, actually, or pretty soon, like within the next couple of months or so. So yeah, that's what I have for you. Moving on to Mama Sheri. See a couple of clients this week. Not new ones. But a couple of people popping up for readings this week. First of all, I'm also seeing somebody, somebody from the past popping back up again. The feeling that I get from that is, I don't want to say any names on here. We both know her. I don't think that you are connected with her anymore. I think that might change. If you can't figure out who I'm talking about, call me. How about that? Could be her. Could be somebody like her. That sort of pops back in again. But I also don't see them staying very long. That makes sense. Like, they're in at the beginning of the week. They're pretty much out by the end of the week, if that makes sense. It's somebody from the past that you're not necessarily connected with anymore may pop up. Okay, we'll just put it that way. But I don't see them sticking around for very long. This person that I was thinking of is an old client of both of ours, who we've talked about quite often. Okay. I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about. Kind of annoying, but it's sort of weird, actually, how people will do that. From time to time, they sort of get mad at our process and how we work. And they leave, and then they come back hoping that things have changed. Like our personalities are going to change or something like that. I'm not sure. And it is what it is. It's not, if I were in that situation, I'd be like, yeah, I will help you, charging full price now, not giving anything away for free. And I think that right there is just going to, end all that. We'll just put it that way. So that's one thing that I'm being shown for you. The other thing is, I want to focus on these couple of readings coming up. Not saying that you're only going to get 2 this week, but these 2, there's something specific. So one of them, I get that you're going to get a lot of family members from this one. So more business is coming from this one connection, if that makes sense. It may not all come this week. It may come, more than likely it'll be across the next couple of weeks. The other one, the other one, I feel you want to round and bubble like a lot, a lot with this one. Because the energetic feeling that I'm getting from this one is that they can be very draining, comparable to other people who are draining, have been draining in our lives before. So you want to have really tough boundaries. Not that you don't, but you want to make sure you have really tough boundaries with this one, and have a really strong bubble with this one, because I have a feeling that it's going to be kind of a difficult one. So that's what I got for you. I'm moving on to Rebekka. Rebekka. I see a trip this week. Now that could be around the holiday. So leaving at the end of the week, coming back at the beginning of next week. I don't see it as being like a really long trip, like getting on a plane and going across the country or anything, more like a road trip with a few people. It's getting ready, I think, for that. That's going to be a little bit stressful this week. I mean, you're a Capricorn, so you should be the most organized person on the planet. Just saying, I'm not every Capricorn is like that, I know, but in my mind, they are. But it's just making sure that everything is taken care of before you go, of course. And there's always going to be those little those little things that pop up and are annoying and stuff like that, that you have to pay attention to. So that's one thing that I have for you. Make sure, even if it's not your car, especially if it's not your car, make sure whoever you're going with, because I don't see you going by yourself, but make sure that the car, you check the fluids, the water, the air, and the tires, the whole bit before you go. And I'm saying this because you want to avoid an overheat, you want to avoid a problem. And even if it's not your car, you're going to want to avoid being stuck on the road for however long it takes for them to come pick you up and take the car in to get fixed because of whatever situation, right? So I'm just saying, I'm picking it up. So make sure that all of that stuff is taken care of before you take off. You'll thank me later. Trust me on that. The other thing that I have for you is I see some worries about money and whether or not you're going to have the money to do this trip. I do see that you will have the money to do this trip and maybe a little bit extra. So don't worry too much over that, because it is being taken care of. We'll just put it that way. So that's what I have for you, Rebekka. Last, I have Diane, my fellow Aquarian badass friend lady. You don't get a holiday this week. You're not here in the United States. It's a United States holiday. I'm so sorry, but I'm sure that you have plenty of holidays there that we don't have. So, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is, right? And it can be a holiday whenever we say it is, anyways. We're so badass. What I do see coming up for you this week, so I see some extra money coming in for you this week, actually. This is not regular money. This is a little bit extra. It's not a ton, but it is a little bit extra. So that could come from your extracurricular activities, your side hustles, whatever you want to call them, coming through this week. And actually I see it coming in two different places. So it's not just one instance of a little bit extra money, it's two. So like maybe you sell two paintings or you do two readings or something like that. And I'm seeing something specific, that money going towards something specific, like you're currently working towards a goal of saving a certain amount of money for something specific. So I actually see that money coming in and going towards that, if that makes sense. And that something specific coming closer, because it's like you're almost there, to get the money you need for that, which is a good thing. The other thing that I'm picking up is water and being around the water. And so I hear the walkabout, going on the walkabout, but I it's very specific towards needing to be near water. So if I remember correctly, you're by the ocean, or at least you were at one time. And I see the need to put the feet in the water. It's like a ground in a way. And it's not necessarily because it's been so busy. I feel like this is more, the Aquarian having too many irons in the fire, too many things that your brain is focused on. It's like it's like you just need to release all that, and there's something about your feet in the water that really helps with that. um and it's not that you can't ground and center outside of the water, but this every so often you need that space. And it's a very much in a by myself alone space, the typical Aquarian hermit, right? um Kind of a thing. This is also, I think, the hermit or Aquarian hermit thing, it does make it difficult to run a business. Because you have to talk to people. Otherwise you don't make any money, but it's not just, I feel it's not just about that. It's like you just know that you have to. I mean, life, you can't go through life being a hermit all the time and not talking to people. It just doesn't work very well. um but I think that in terms of the ground, I feel that this is really where it's coming from. It's not so much your own stress. It's like, I gotta release all these, get rid of all these people, whether they are people, individuals that you are interacting with, or that you just happen to be in their space, like at a store or something like that, or if it has to do with family members that are just, kind of a pain in the ass. Not saying that they're rearing their ugly heads this week or anything like that, but just the regular mumbo jumbo of life, kind of a thing. And just being able to take that time um and do that full ground, I just feel is like really important for you this week, because it sort of focuses you on your goals. And I really see you sitting down and and making goals. um it's sort of not like the normal, let me fly by the seat of my pants because I'm an Aquarius kind of a feeling. This is more you saying, okay, I am going to do this, and this is my ultimate goal, and this is how I'm going to get to it, kind of a thing. And I don't think that this has to do with money as much as it has to do with your own personal goals. This is what you want to do, or this is what I'm challenging myself to do, which is actually an even better way of putting it. So I'm really excited for you, actually, to see, kind of what this is, and how this plays out, and what you do with it, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for you. That's what I have for everybody. So I got the right week done this time. Yay. So, yes, it's the Aquarian way. Just, go through, be brilliant, screw it all up while you're there. And then, and then with a smile on your face, because, anything that you screw up, you can always fix, right? So I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week.